Hello and happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm Barbara Ann, and welcome back to my channel, Straight Out of Context. If you want, send me all the love you can. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Stick around. Give me a chance. You might like what I have to say. You might find that you have the same opinions or even differing opinions. Either which way, I love to hear from you guys in the comments below. Right now, I'm going to deep dive into one of my least favorite subjects, but yet one of the most prominent and most important ones to speak on of. And it's imperative because Hollywood has been slowly getting exposed. And the actions, behaviors, and words of celebrities and public figures in Hollywood today are the ones that are exposing themselves. So the work is not on us, but the fact that they think everybody out here in the world are just sheeple when we're not. Some of the most intelligent, superior IQ'd, most amazing, talented, beautiful people are out here just regular sheep, like me, like you, like everybody else. So one of the biggest topics lately is J-Lo. And this is the reason why. In the past 2 years, Jennifer Lopez has done over 7 major projects. Yes, you heard me right. That's 7 major projects. She has done a movie called Shotgun Wedding, which was picked up by streaming services. I'm not sure exactly which one. Don't quote me on that because I don't follow J-Lo and her work. However, out of the 3, dancing, singing, and acting, I would like to say that I'm pretty accurate in my opinion that she's better at acting. However, Shotgun Wedding, then she did the Super Bowl halftime show for 12 minutes, which she had to share with Shakira. She did a documentary on streaming services called Halftime about the 12-minute halftime Super Bowl show and how unhappy she was that they picked not one in her own right, but 2 Latina women to share that stage. How horrible. So we thought that that was the end, right, of Jennifer Lopez. Nope, we were all wrong. It's not the end of Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez had so much more to gift the world with her incredible trifecta of talent. She came out with an album entitled This Is Me Now, as a secondary one to her album 20 years ago called This Is Me. So this should be enough for Jennifer Lopez, you would think, right? Nope. She had to do a 30-minute long music video. A project which was over $20 million and self-funded before Amazon bought it and picked it up. For that album, This Is Me Now. A music video. And if you thought that that was enough, J-Lo, for the world to have in a year's time, you would be absolutely wrong. Because she then did a documentary about the making of that music video. The greatest love story never told. And then we thought, okay, J-Lo's oversaturated, overexposed. Her relationship and marriage to Ben Affleck after 20-year hiatus and separate marriages that have failed and children being produced. Oh, she finally learned to love that inner child, get over her trauma and her victim narrative. So much so that she finally learned to love herself and to love her inner child. That opened her life, her mind, her heart, her body, and her soul for her soulmate to be received back into her life, which is Ben Affleck. And that is the story that we're being sold. Not once, not twice, 5 different times. However, she also did a 7th project in 2 years, and that is the movie Atlas, which is a Netflix movie. So Jennifer Lopez also, as you know, has a TikTok account, probably a Facebook and Instagram and all the other things that public figures and celebrities do, because that's one of their biggest moneymakers today. People have been calling her out left and right on TikTok. The things that she said in the documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, about her fulfilling her dream, this project that she just absolutely had to do. because she was right. She knew she could do it. She knew she had it in her. And one last hurrah for J-Lo before she's too old and has to retire. I don't know. You tell me. What is enough money that you could make as a celebrity in your lifetime that you liquidated? Not your assets, not your financial portfolio, money that you actually have in the bank. What would it take for you to say, I'm going to retire? Or I'm not going to only retire, I'm going to open up my own production studio or music studio, right? Taylor Swift's an example of that. If she had $1.8 billion, $1.8 billion or thereabout that her net worth in the last 17 and a half years is accumulated to be, why couldn't she spend $300 million buying her own masters? Why couldn't she open up her own music studio and her own record label and not just all these other fake LLCs that pop up to make more money for her and line her pockets? When is it enough? When is she going to start giving back to music and producing music with other and for other people instead of just herself? Because the narcissism in Hollywood is relentless. It never lets up. It's a dog-eat-dog world. And that very small 1% of America's population that is in that very, very wealthy bracket, they're not going to allow other people in. And you see that with celebrities like J-Lo, who are very oversaturated. A woman who has done 7 projects in the last 2 years, including the Super Bowl halftime, is well over middle-aged, and she's not leaving room for the younger, beautiful, more talented people who are trying to break through, because there's only so many halftime shows every year. There's only so many albums and movies and anything that is being done and put out and is going to be bought by America's 331 million citizens, right? So we are being sold too much J-Lo, and people realize we are done and we are tired of it. So divorce rumors start swirling after she does 5 projects talking about her soulmate coming back to her after 20 years and how she went through all these failed relationships because she didn't know how to overcome her trauma. She didn't know how to love her inner child and her inner self. Not because she's a narcissist who can't make a relationship work, because narcissists only fall in love with other narcissists because they're love addicts. They like the feeling of the honeymoon phase. They love the feeling of falling in love. They love what that person reflects back to them. At the end of the day, they don't want to self-sacrifice or self-preserve or compromise because they love another person so much because of who they are, what they are, their character. No, it's not about loving another human being at all. It's about what they get from that other person. And that's why you see celebrity relationships fail so much, because it's narcissism versus narcissism, and that is always going to fail. In Hollywood, to be at that caliber that J-Lo is at as a A-lister, you have to be a narcissist who lives their life in service to themselves and only themselves all day, every day, and allow other people to work fundamentally in service to them. Hair, makeup, clothing, red carpet, agents, managers, assistants, lawyer, the whole shebang. The whole shebang. Empathetic, compassionate people would never employ other people to be in service to them, and this fake image and this fake persona to which these A-listers and public figures cannot live up to themselves. And deep down inside, they are the most insecure and the most damaged and the most broken because they know it. They know it. And that's why it genuinely cuts them when they are not received well. Do projects that are fundamentally good and they'll be received well. Popping out 7 different projects in a 2-year time span, how well are you actively doing those? How well are you positively and proactively trying to produce these projects? Not well at all. What's Ben Affleck been doing? Driving his wife around, being her chauffeur, looking extremely unhappy. And while they're being plagued by divorce rumors, one has to wonder, how much is she and he playing into that? Or did they start them themselves? Or is it really true? Because J-Lo had just announced 2 weeks ago she is canceling her This Is Me Now tour after trying to rebrand it as a greatest hits tour because of low ticket sales. Now, some cities like New York and LA for this summer tour were actually doing okay as far as ticket sales. It was not selling out, and it was not selling out in other cities to make it worth the while of all the people that make a tour happen. So she cited family time. Is that a cover for I'm getting divorced and selling our $60 million house because now I look stupid? I did 5 projects about this man, about this great love story, about how this is the one, this 5th time is going to be the one that works, and this is it, and this is love at its finest. It all blows back into her face, because if her and Ben Affleck really are getting divorced, as the rumors and sources close to the couple are suggesting, as well as selling their $60 million home, then it really nullifies those projects that she's done. And it's acutely embarrassing. In fact, that is the definition of cringe. The secondhand acute embarrassment and humiliation that you feel for another human being. And I can guarantee that you're all with me when I say that we are all feeling that for Jennifer Lopez right now. But while she took all those movies and documentaries and music, you know what spot wasn't open? Those spots. They were not open for somebody else to fundamentally, who is talented and skilled and experienced, to be able to get a piece of the pie. But they're going to make sure that nobody gets their piece of the pie. When you're in that caliber, you're in that caliber. And they are going to do everything that they can to try to preserve their spot. And we see it in Hollywood time and time and time and time and time again. But I want to know, if she can fund a $20 million self-project, why can't she comfortably retire? How much money is too much money? How much liquidated money does it take for an A-list celebrity to say, you know what, I'm getting older, I'm overexposed, I'm oversaturated, I'm working way too hard. Maybe I should take a step back. Maybe I should retire. Maybe I should semi-retire. Maybe I should put my time and my effort towards better use, humanitarian, charitable efforts. How much money does one have to have? And how many $1 million mega mansions with 17 bedrooms, 30 bathrooms, and a parking structure to accommodate 80 vehicles does one have to buy before one has to come back to reality and touch base with the rest of us here on Earth in America and say, I could be doing so much better. I could be making better choices, doing better things with my time and my money. When does the greed ever stop? And that is where I have a very negative opinion about Hollywood. And I really enjoy the fact that so many of these celebrities and public figures have been exposing themselves, and that their words, their actions, their choices are coming back to reflect exactly what's really going on. They're trying to find more and more ways with social media and content creation to not only take over our content creation here, but to try to take over the majority of the ad revenue pool from us. And they're trying to find more creative ways to line their pockets, because let's face it, for 15 years there has been a very steep decline in movie and record sales. And with digital platforms and digital streaming, and even with the invention of the internet in the early 90s coming into middle class and low class homes by 1997, Napster coming around, LimeWire, people were downloading music for free, and you can still do that today. You don't have to pay for it. So these artists and these actors, public figures, they're hurting. But how bad can you be hurting? You're not living in low-income HUD housing. You're not a cancer remission patient. You're not somebody who has undergone 7 surgeries in the past 4 years. You were not born with a physical disability, an egregious physical disability, connective tissue, inherited connective tissue disease called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome type 2. And so when I see that these people in the 1% bracket of America's 331 million citizens failing to do better and to be better and to reflect that they character-wise have grace and integrity and class, it doesn't make me feel for them at all. In fact, I feel the opposite. I feel like it's time that the plug is pulled, and this whole selling their pictures to magazines and paparazzi and TMZ and them being their own sources cited for all of these negative stories that we read about them. So it's come to the attention that these divorce rumors that are surrounding Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, they very well may be calibrated by them, and that they are putting it out because everybody in Hollywood knows, as far as public relations goes, that not talking about somebody at all is the death of them. It is worse than negative publicity, and they play into the negative publicity. But it said that Ben Affleck, who was recently seen with his ex-wife and baby mama, Jennifer Garner, who recently remarried herself, that he has rented a house very close to hers so he can see his kids, and that he has not been living with J-Lo actively for the last several weeks. So are these rumors and speculation, or is there truth to it? Because a lot of times there is truth to it, and we have yet to see that. We have yet to see an announcement. But with J-Lo now canceling her tour, citing family time, we now see that their house, the $60.4 million house, is up for sale. You can look at Zillow.com and see that. With us seeing them moving furniture out of the home, and with Ben Affleck just MIA with his wife, it leaves one to think. Is Jennifer Lopez not suffering her own karma at her own hands? Because we all do, and we all will. We will all reap what we sow. Whether you're physically disabled and unable to work, cancer remission patient, or if you're an A-lister like J-Lo herself. So my biggest complaint and my biggest opinion when it comes to Hollywood and public figures is, why does their work ethic, they always want to say, I got here, I'm a rags to riches story. She wasn't a rag to riches story. She had 2 immigrant parents that worked their asses off to put her and her sisters in a private Catholic school, which they did for the entirety of their education. That's not only privileged, that's a slap in the face to try to say that, oh, I came from an abusive, toxic household, when you did not, because the victim narrative is what's selling lately. We've started seeing that victim narrative decline, and thank goodness, because victim narratives are so just done. There is no victor story in a victim narrative. But Jennifer Lopez cannot buy into that and try to, oh, look at me, I'm a thug, with the R&B and hip hop people, and sell this, oh, I'm just J-Lo, Jenny from the block. She's not. Okay, it's a slap in the face to your parents who worked extremely hard to give you and your siblings not only an education, but a privileged life. And they did, because at not even 18 years old, she was able to pursue her dreams and move all the way from the Bronx in New York City to LA. And she did. So don't sit here and tell me that it's her work ethic, because she works harder than everybody else. I know people here in St. Clair County, Michigan, and in Port Huron, Michigan, who work their asses off thrice as hard as she ever could. And I would bet my life on that. My bottom dollar, I would bet it on that. And they are not privileged. They don't have somebody driving them around, or a very rich husband, let alone 5 of them. They don't have a $60.4 million mega mansion. So why do celebrities get to get away with getting paid millions of dollars for a project, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for a project? How fair is that to the rest of us? Because the brains, the body, the beauty, and the talent, the experience, the sacrifice, the hard work, it's people out here that are really doing that. And it's the people and teams of people exactly like that who surround these celebrities with this fake image and this fake persona. What we're seeing with modern times and social media, modern society, is that fake persona and that fake image is stripped away. And we're finding hollowness, shallowness that these oftentimes celebrities Britney Spears, as much as I loved and adored her, she's not the best singer. She looked great as far as image and persona. She could get on stage and perform, and I'm never going to undermine the amount of hard work that probably took on her body. But somebody that's mentally disabled and mentally ill, it's very telling when people are trying to force them to work. That is something that should not be done. And there are laws against that, but yet it happened because Britney Spears did look good on stage. She could perform and make it look good. She might not be the best singer, the best actress. She might not even be the best dancer, but it was the image. She fulfilled that image. And to me, that is horrible, horrible to think all them years and time and dedication of all these people making music and writing lyrics for her. When there are people out here who produce, write, play their own instruments, sing, do all of it, and they can't get that kind of recognition and that kind of PR behind them to put them in the spotlight, to where people are hearing them on the radio, getting that airplay, getting the accolades. And another thing with Jennifer Lopez, we see that she's never won a Grammy. Acting is her best out of the three, but we've never seen her win a Grammy or an Oscar or even a People's Choice Award or a Lifetime Legacy, a Lifetime Achievement Award, like any of those. She doesn't have any of those accolades. So why is Jennifer Lopez an A-lister? What does she have that nobody else does? I really genuinely want to know somebody answer me that question. What does she have that nobody else has or can do, or that somebody else out there in America can't do better than her, or even look, sing, act better than her, dance better than her? I want to know what makes her worth the millions and not other people. And that is where my opinion on celebrity and public figure, I find a little bit of joy in people dismantling that and breaking that down. Because brands and campaigns and design houses and award shows and all the movie production, all of the entertainment industry, the music industry, record labels, they're starting to pick up on that too, because the people have spoken in overwhelming volumes that can no longer be ignored. So when I deep dive into the thing about Jennifer Lopez, I think they're still writing about her. She's still going on her TikTok and Instagram and posting, look at me, nobody fucks with J-Lo. Look at me, Atlas is streaming #1. You know how many movies and TV shows Network has produced, not only in English in America and the Western world and UK, but in 187 other countries and many other languages? Thousands. Tens of thousands. A movie streaming #1 for a week is not really anything all that great anymore. It doesn't really mean much anymore. 1 million people, 10 million people, 100 million people, that doesn't really mean much anymore. That's not even 1/4 of the American population tuning in to watch that. So I think, is she really worth it? Is she really worth that money? I think not. And I think people are picking up on that we are not getting our money's worth. And Jennifer Lopez, she may be Latina, she may be selling us that, but she's not a representation of anybody, any woman, any artist, any Latina, because she has taken that spot away from others and is not sharing. I think that it is time for people to have bigger and broader discussions and conversations about Hollywood and the end days of Hollywood. And why, what, how are they getting paid millions and not other people? People are creating amazing content from their home with their own technology and devices and doing all the work of editing and doing all the work of all of it. And very few are lucky to have or employ help. But even then, some of us are not getting paid at all yet or monetized yet. And that doesn't break even, because that's not helping somebody pay their rent, feed their children, put food on the table, none of it, or even get out of their life. But yet Jennifer Lopez was able to, because she came from privilege, Latina or not. That's besides the point. She came from privilege. She had two parents who gave her a beautiful childhood and an education and gave her the ability to be able to move out of her circumstances in her childhood and to be able to comfortably move to LA and California and pursue her dreams. And that's exactly what she did. Other people are not afforded that same privilege and opportunity, and that is the disparaging part of Hollywood versus the rest of us. That 1% wealthy versus the rest of us. And there's a lot of wealthy people that are not famous, and there's a lot of famous people that are not wealthy. But a lot of these A-list celebrities, they know how to use their fame to monetize, to make money. And that's what they do. And that's what we're seeing with Jennifer Lopez. But unfortunately, she's past her prime. She's past her prime, oversaturated, overexposed, and we are done. And we are tired of it. I know I am. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. I am not talking about Jennifer. I do like her as an actor. She's actually done a lot of movies that I absolutely love. Her movie Enough, I thought she was fantastic in Enough. I just great. High energy, the physicality of that movie. I mean, I couldn't even dream of trying to keep up with something like that. She's had lots of movies that were actually pretty funny. I thought Hustlers was kind of funny. I mean, it had a comedy type feel to it. She's done lots of movies in her past that were pretty good. Of course, we know the one she did with Ben Affleck was bombed, but tanked. But I think that Jennifer Lopez, as an actor, I think she's actually pretty good at acting. But that's not what she tried to pursue her dream with. She tried to pursue her dream in dancing. And we see her on stage doing music, and we know that they're lip syncing. We know that even if they have a live mic, they still have a track that's playing. So, are they worth the money? Are they? Are these celebrities worth the money anymore? I don't know, because one of my mom's favorite bands is Heart. And if you know Ann and Nancy Wilson, they're in their mid to late 60s and they are still rocking out harder than ever. And those women tour almost every year. And it's amazing watching them. Ann Wilson's voice cannot be compared. And nobody can compare to her voice. But just watching their work ethic and saying, wow, that's amazing. When you see a live show, that's what I want to see. I want to see people having a good time performing their music that relates to us, that we love as well. Seeing them play the instruments and sing the lyrics with us singing along with, that's amazing. These shows that a lot of these celebrities do, or performances they do, they're not really the type of songs that people want to see live. It's not real music. It's auto-tuned. It's done digitally. It's produced by somebody else. And it just really takes away from the artistry and the love of being live in a concert. And of course, with ticket sales being as sky high as they are today, you can see why people like me can't afford to go to see a concert anymore. And you're not just talking the ticket prices, you're talking surcharges are extremely high. Third parties reselling, extremely high. Parking, extremely high. The travel, extremely. You're lucky if you get to do it a few times in your lifetime. And I would really suggest everybody do that, but it's hard to even support artists today, even when you want to. But in this degree with J-Lo and her 7 projects in 2 years, I would really like to hope that the people that are in power, the producers and executive producers and directors and the movie houses and the record labels, that they come to realize that their money could be put to better use. The fact that Jennifer Lopez can self-fund, even if she had to get a loan to do so, a $20 million project to turn around and sell it to Amazon, one that tanked, that fundamentally failed in all capacity. The fact that she's even able to do that, I think to myself, do you know what I would be able to do with $20 million? Like, I can't even imagine how many people I could help in my community, in real time, actively, positively, and proactively. And I just think the amount of money that's wasted is absolutely horrendous. And that's where I have the biggest problem with Hollywood. But I don't know, you let me know what you think in the comments below, and I just want you guys to all have a very happy Wednesday. I love you all. Have a great weekend and rest of your week. I will talk to you all on the flip side.